what if someone had taught you what happens after sex? An education of more than condoms, abstinence, or more recently, no means no. Now, all of those things are obviously important for our sex education, but in elementary school sex education, we are taught men have erections and ejaculation, while the women have period, cramps, mood swings, unwanted pregnancies. Why does no one talk about when sex feels good? And that strong, confident, get it done feminist attitude gets to apply to sexually liberated women too. As a woman, you're either categorized as a nymphomaniac, obsessed with sex, or you're a prude who won't let anyone touch you. There is no in between, and the double standard is ridiculous. Tuning into your sexuality can hone your skills of self-knowledge, creativity, communication, connection. I want you to think about your original beliefs on losing your virginity. Was it taught to you as something that's sacred, or was it important to get rid of and just begin getting that experience? I bet you can guess which gender subscribes to which one. Think about what age you lost your virginity. Was it considered early? Were you late? Were you behind your friends? Were you the first one? What beliefs did you absorb from the reactions of your peers when you began having sex? I still remember my very first hand job. I felt like I was so behind everyone else. I was at a party in high school. We were under a pool table in the game room. There was people all around us, maybe asleep, maybe also hooking up. I was so confused. The hand job was so hard and uncomfortable. Like in all the videos I'd seen, it was like this easy gliding process. And here I was feeling like sandpaper on this guy's penis because I had access to porn before I was ever sexually active, and it aided in a lot of the excitement and focus that I placed around sex for many years, but taught me nothing about lube or making things comfortable. You just go right into the activity. The age in which children are engaging in sex is younger and younger, and it doesn't help that certain types of porn really fetishize this behavior. How many of you believed that oral sex isn't sex? Why? Why is it so casual that when men are on the receiving end of it, it's not sex? I don't even really like the idea of foreplay because it insinuates that it's before the sex, when in reality, for a lot of people, that is the sex, or that's better than the actual penetrative sex. So how are you defining a successful sexual experience? What would a man describe as good enough sex versus a woman? Maybe you're saying you have no interest in sex anymore, or maybe you have a lower sex drive once you're actually having sex. Maybe you're bored with the sex, it's just another thing on your to-do list. The diminished quality of orgasm, pain during sex, all of these things are normal and they're incredibly common, but they can be fixed when they're addressed, not ignored. Have you ever even been inside your own pussy? Do you know what's going on up there, or do you also think it's gross? Take a mirror, admire your own body because it's beautiful. For someone that's experiencing lots of pain or low libido, it's time to really intimately get to know yourself. It's common for women to not even allow men to go down on them, thinking this body part is gross, while simultaneously being sacred. So there's two things that can be at play when we hear about a lot of these symptoms. The first is connection with your own body. And then the second is connection with your partner. So if there's something relational going on, maybe getting into couples counseling could help. I'm here to work with you mainly about the connection to yourself. Now, I know every time I say mindfulness helps you be more interested in sex, people are like, how? You know, they just roll their eyes, they don't believe it. They say, how is meditating for a few minutes a day going to get you to want to screw your partner's brains out? And I get that. But once you get connected to the feeling of your orgasm, knowing the difference between when you're about to come, when you're about to orgasm, when you're building up, getting invested in your own pleasure, you'll find you can tell the difference between an orgasm that's sitting at a 5 and an orgasm that's a full-blown 10. So this kind of present moment awareness is available to anyone who is willing to try. That's it. Meditation, mindfulness, all of these techniques, all of these sex techniques I'm going to talk about, they're available and they work for anybody who is willing to put in the effort. Studies show it's consistent daily mindfulness work that leads to benefits like lowered anxiety, increased pain thresholds, and better emotional regulation. Think about the best sex that you've ever had. Was it the time you were most present in the sensations happening in your body? Maybe you noticed that you didn't want to have sex at first. You thought you had low sex drive at the moment, but then once you consented to actually doing it, you got into the session and you got turned on, and it ended up being really great sex. These recollections are the things that can tilt you from that neutral point into having a higher sex drive. Remembering the moments when, same with a workout, when you said, okay, I don't want to work out this morning. I absolutely do not want to do this, but I know that it's going to make me feel better if I do. Same thing with sex. You can use it to get to sleep. You can use it because you know it boosts your mood. I know that I'm going to get endorphins off my workout. I know the same thing is going to happen if I have sex right now. Having sex because it celebrates you, it helps you feel more feminine. These are other parts of sex that we just don't consider, right? These can be motivating factors to sex other than just pleasing our partner, okay? This is what aware lovemaking, aware fucking looks like, okay? You're paying attention moment by moment to what feels good for you in a totally non-judgmental, accepting, and pleasurable way. This is what the mindfulness brings, okay? The same way that we're non-judgmental with the thoughts that come up, and we just have to accept them and let them move through, is going to be the same exact way that we're viewing sex. If this is triggering you, both in a positive or a negative way, let's explore that. I'm proud of you for taking the steps towards a more sexually positive life. There is so much pleasure just out there waiting for you to experience it. If you don't know what's out there, how can you really say that you're not interested in doing it? It's like anything. Once you study it, you get more confident, you're able to practice, you find enjoyment in the experience of it. You find that confidence through knowledge. Knowledge is power. No matter where you're at, there is always so much more out there, okay? Find your fun, but also find your boundaries. Yes, no, maybe, downloadable. It covers pretty much anything that you can do in the bedroom. Go through it with your partner. See what's a yes, see what's a hard no, see what's a maybe. Start exploring those things together or for yourself and learning that it's not so cut and dry, right? There are so many different ways to experience this pleasure that we're really cutting ourselves off from without ever giving it the chance. It's just about finding more information and developing a new fantasy for yourself, for you and your partner, or just for your own sexual pleasure.